you need to face your life, to whatever you really need, to ski, surf, or walk, run, sprints, and whatever it is. And usually the happy body people, when they go skiing after months of not skiing, they don't have any soreness, no problems, and they just really good. The next day they go on the mountain, but they have friends who don't do the happy body. They are sore, they are in pain, they do massages and so on, and the happy body people on the mountain because whatever they do is actually testing in the training a lot of more requirement than actually the mountain. So the training, 30 minutes training is one thing, flexibility.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Trustcasting Podcast, where experts become authorities. I'm Zane Myers, your host. Today, I'm speaking with another remarkable guest who's built incredible trust with their clients. Let's dive right in. Welcome to another edition of the Holistic Entrepreneur, and we have the honor of having Jerzy Gregorek with us. And Jerzy is a world champion weightlifter. You have four titles, is it? Four titles. And your wife, she has 7 titles. Is that right?
She is a lot better than I. She is my boss,
Well, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Of course, every man has a boss.
So tell me, we're going to go back just a little bit because not everybody's going to know who you are, but tell me about, you're not originally from, you live in California, right?
Well, we lived in California for about 18 years, but we originally from Poland. So
right.
We are political refugees from Poland.
So this was pre-Lech Walesa days.
No, that's the Wałęsa. I met Wałęsa. I was fighting during that time, yes. So that was 81 when the government attacked Solidarity, and I was in the Fire Protection Engineering School in Warsaw Academy. That's where I was one of the leaders of the strike that ended up with the attack on the academy by police and other people that served the system at the time.
And so how did you escape, so to speak? Was the Iron Curtain still existed at that time?
Yeah, well, it was I didn't go away in 81. I was working underground until 84. And the time was that for me, it would be better to go away than stay. I guess I feared that my life could end up there. So it was the time when people in the communistic government didn't want the troublemakers. And they were giving the one-way passport, and to get the passport and to go somewhere, it was not difficult.
Oh, okay.
So I went to Sweden and asked in Sweden for political asylum. But they couldn't get from Sweden to America because the Sweden was not NATO country at that time. So I had to go to Germany, boarded the ship to Germany, and then asked political asylum in German. And then from Germany, I immigrated to U.S.
And so how long have you been on our beautiful shores of the U.S.?
Since 86.
Since 86.
Yeah.
And then what happened? I went to all the history because I'm curious. So you come over in 86, and where'd you land?
So there is this sponsor program usually is working between countries and helping the immigrants to settle. And my wife and I were sponsored by organization. It was called Tolstoy organization that was located in Detroit. Mm-hmm. And so we were going to go to Detroit, and they kind of helped people they sponsor for half a year, but when we landed there, we didn't really like to be there. So we boarded the plane. We had like $1,000, and from New York to Detroit, when we flew, our luggage was stolen or gone. So everything what we had was gone. We had only clothes on ourselves and $1,000. That's
Wow.
all. Yeah. And then there was somebody that was going to help us in LA, but when we landed in LA, cost us $400. Landed in LA, and that person uh, called me and said that she was sick and she was not going to help us. So 11 p.m. and we were just alone on uh, LAX. So I called everywhere, and there was the person that uh, came and helped us to go somewhere, but not where the person was. So eventually we came to this place in Los Feliz in LA that somebody that also immigrated from Poland, his aunt sponsored him. So we ended up to sleep on the floor for some days until this Polish couple that was building another house on the property let us live in a house that was half built. And that's how we began. And then we started really walking around and trying to find out what we were going to do there. I was just completely alone. And we ended up in Burbank, and
Hmm.
we saw this power source gym. And I went there and told them who I was, and owner said, "Okay, I will give you a shot. You will work from 12 to 5, 5 hours. I will give you $5, and we'll see if you can fit into people and find yourself." So
And that was it. So how long did that last?
that was so. When people came to a gym, usually they had 1 free hour, and that was the hour usually with a trainer, personal trainer. That's what the beginning of personal trainers in '80s. So I was one of those that would help people to find themselves in the gym, and also, um, you know, come out with a plan if they had problems like pains and desires that they had and they didn't know how to achieve.
So did
And
you have any training in that?
I was
Did you
Olympic
have?
weightlifter in Poland, so I was in Olympic weightlifting. So not in training in personal training, right? But in coaching, yes. But my coaching was really good. People really liked what I was doing. They liked what I was planning for them and giving them plans, strategies to do. So they slowly were signing with personal training sessions with me, private sessions. That was $25, and the gym was taking $15 and paying me $10. No, opposite, 15 and 10. I was getting 60%, and they were getting 10. So I get really successful very quickly. Within half a year, I trained about 50 people or more. So it was a really very fast progress, and ended up in at the end of the year that I met with the manager of the gym, and I said, "Well, I train almost everybody in the gym, so I train around 100 people, and working like 80 hours a week." So I asked the manager to give me 75% and take 25%. And he said, "Well, we don't do this in America." And I said, "What do you mean?" No, in America. I said, "Well, that's the rules." And that's it. I said, "Jimmy, if you get rid of me, so I will take all the clients that they are here, about 100 of them, to you. So you lose the 25% that I'm offering, and also lose all these people that they pay membership. And that's a lot of money. That's America or not? And he said, we'll see. I said, okay. So I went to North Hollywood, found a gym there, Frank's gym, on Lancashire, and then talked to the owner and Frank. And he said, well, you can bring your people here. And that's it. I said, so you don't want any cut from my training? He said, no, you just train. They pay membership. You don't need to pay anything membership and train them here. You're on your own. I said, fantastic. Okay. So I told all my clients, and my wife also was training people. And about 100% people moved. So suddenly we had like 100% more money. So I called Jimmy and said, hey, Jimmy, thank you for pushing me for this. And he hang up on me. He didn't want to talk to me.
He didn't find the humor in that.
No, he didn't find any humor. He was upset, really. But that's America. I said,
that is America.
Right?
And that's the way that it is. You negotiate your own deals, and if you don't negotiate well, then
Exactly. So it's ended up pretty badly for him, but for me, I didn't expect that. It was really unexpected. I was really have the worries and so on, but we had this hat that we were paying $300 a month, and calculated that we can live for about a year out of the money that we saved. So it was scary, but we did. We risked everything.
So was your wife? So you guys came over here to America together?
Yes, we came together. First I went to Sweden alone because I was feared that if we wanted to go together, they would not give us passport. So I was, at that time, it was more important that I had to go, and so we decided that I go. We were married at the time, and then I left, and then after about 6-7 months, she joined me with really tough circumstances that she faced. Yeah, talking about adversities. It's like, wow. But yeah, she overcame everything, and eventually, she came.
So you say you were Olympic trained in the Olympics before, or Olympic weightlifter prior to coming or leaving Poland? Is that right?
No. I was in training. I was first class Olympic weightlifter, but I got really badly injured in 77. So that ended up my career, and it took me a long time to recover. About 18 years. 18 years of because I lifted in a really heavy weight on a quarter squat, and my L5 moved forward and bruised my spinal cord. And by bruising it, I got temporary paralyzed, and I could be 1-2 days completely not feeling the legs, and then came back a little bit. I could wiggle, then lost it again, and I was like this for a year.
Wow!
And that cut me off completely. But when I became 35, I became the master in training, mostly bodybuilding as a trainer. So I started building the body from a different perspective, and that helped me to heal my injury. I returned back in '94 to competition. 94, 95, 96, yeah. So as master division, and we started, competing on a low level, like, locally as well as the nationals, then started competing in Pan American Games, and eventually ended up in the world.
So tell me, how does the competition work?
Well, it's Olympic weightlifting, so how it works, you have to stand on a scale, right? So first of all is you have to really know how to lose the weight, so you don't lose the muscle. And usually weightlifters are heavier, let's say 10, 15 pounds heavier than competition weight. and then lose slowly the weight, the body fat, for about 3 months. And then after 3 months, when you start with 10%, 12% body fat, you end up like 3-4%. But it's the last days are extremely important, how you dehydrate yourself and hydrate back, and what you eat, and this is like a science, really, real science. I mean, very specific way of doing things. 3 weeks before, 2 weeks before, 1 week before, 2 hours before, and so on. So this is the diet to end up to have the body weight. And after 2 hours after, you have to hydrate yourself and eat. And then when you end up with the competition, people come, and then you set up your beginning lift, snatch and clean and jerk, and you start with that. So the competitors come on the stage, lift, and if you lift it, you're good. If you missed, you repeat or go higher, and eventually total between snatch and clean and jerk decides who wins, who's not. But it's in the competition, you really fight one or two ahead of you and behind, because in weightlifting everybody knows the numbers, so it's not like it's almost like in racing, 100 meters. They know who is probably going to win, who is going to be second and third, but not really. So there is a race, and in Olympic weightlifting competition there is also a little bit race, because people can miss the lifts and end up in dropping from the higher place to the lower, and from lower to the higher. So there's a lot of emotions involved. So you have to really know how to calm yourself down and how to restore and come back and lift.
So tell me about you.
Mhm.
You are you've got some pretty interesting people who say that you're a great guy. That you had I saw on there. I was just going through your website and I ran across.
I like it.
Let's see, was it Tim Ferriss?
Yep.
And what did he say? I should try to just go over there. It says Tim Ferriss says, of the 10,000 plus people I've met in my life, I would put Anela. Is it Anela or Anila?
Yeah, Anila, yeah.
Anila and Jerzy in the top 10 in terms of success and happiness. That's a pretty good endorsement. So you must have.
Happy, right?
What's that?
It's not easy to be happy.
You have to really. It's a decision.
Exactly, it is a decision to be happy, because I can be miserable as well. So I always people, hey, and people don't believe that. They think that I'm happy because I was born happy and I'm happy. I said no. I can be miserable, and very quickly I can demonstrate that misery that I could really have. So it is a decision, daily decision, how you are in life, and it requires gracefulness, acceptance, where you are. As soon as you don't accept the place you are, then you can end up with problems with who you are, and being disappointed in you. And once you're disappointed, you can be hostile to yourself, right? You can attack yourself that you are not good enough and you're supposed to be better, and on and on. And you can start ruminating on it and end up really depressed, or something else, worse even.
So
it's not easy to be happy.
your book is called The Happy Body.
Not easy either.
So when did that come out? And tell me about that.
So when we coach people in power sports, we usually coach people to achieve certain performance, body performance, and that performance is like Olympic weightlifters: flexible, good posture, fast, strong, and usually these things, or lean, right? So usually those things that we follow would end up healing people and making people better, in spite of what they wanted. So eventually, the top of the mountain is the same. People want to have a good life. People want to be happy, and people want to be painless, and no pain, no problems, and so on, right? And have a good body, a nice body, right? Because the body is important, and a happy body, the body that doesn't have problems. So that is the end game. End game is that mountain. So once we really comprehended that, then we started really developing ways, standards, how to establish the standards and how to achieve them. And there were six standards in the Happy Body book that we wrote to pursue. So first, nothing is vague; everything is scientifically done, and the six standards is the guidelines for people to follow and to achieve a good life. That is the life of capability, physical capability, as well as the joy and happiness, pleasure.
So tell me about the six standards. How did you end up with the six standards? And then maybe you can go in to explain the whole philosophy there.
So we based the whole thing on Olympic weightlifting. So the Olympic weightlifting, you do the snatch, you go all the way down. So for us, like everything is flexible, shoulders, ankles, knees. So we adopted that capability, flexibility, as number one flexibility requirement. And then we started really measuring flexibility, how much you bend, how much you arch back, how much you twist, and start really aligning what is the really requirement here, what is good, what is not good, and something between. And then we also apply to leanness. Leanness is something that how much body fat you should be. So the body fat that athletes usually have when they don't compete, like Olympic weightlifters, it's usually 10% body fat, and when they compete, they are about 4 or 5. So we set up the 10% body fat. It's a really happy body. That's the body that is happy. And
how do you achieve that? Because that's so. I've always been. Well, no, I haven't always been. Actually, I was about 40 pounds heavier for like 20 years. But over the last 15 years or so, I've been pretty fit. But I don't think I have 10% body fat. I think I'm probably, I don't know, 10, 12 pounds overweight where I should be. How do you achieve that? And I'm not a candidate for drugs or anything like that because I'm too close. I just need to
too close. That's how we call it.
Too close to my ideal body weight, but I'm not there, and it just seems like I always am, fighting to get there. How do you achieve that?
Well, imagine because when you're getting older, also the body is getting worse, right? So the body wants to be fatter, and the body wants to die, right? So because that's the whole thing, aging is eventually, saying goodbye. Over the 45, 50 years, but aging is that way. So after 35, aging begins. So all athletes usually at 35 becomes master divisions. So between 18 and 35, there is a senior division, before the junior division, and after 35, senior division. And from the 35, athletes compete every 5 years in the brackets, and the records drop down. So it shows up on the one thing that aging happens. It's real in numbers, and no matter what athletes do, they really deteriorate, and deterioration really happens. So also the body fat is harder and harder to keep yourself lean. Why is that so? Because there's a equilibrium of the body system that wants to be, and also it shows really the lifestyle of a person. So you can imagine that the person is 40% body fat, 30, 20, 10, and 5. And these people will have different lifestyle. The 40% body fat person probably is doing nothing and sitting and watching TV, right? And the 30 will do a little bit more, 20 even more, and 10% will be robust body system. Somebody has enough muscle. What works against us is also sarcopenia. Because sarcopenia happens to us, it means we lose the muscle as we getting older. So that to keep the muscle is difficult. So you can have your body weight, let's say 200 pounds, but also, when you're weighing 20s, you could have maybe 20 pounds of fat and 180 of the muscle or the bones and muscle, everything else. But when you get to your 60 and 70, now you have 40, 50 pounds of fat and you have 150 of the rest. Is you still 200 pounds, but you are a lot of fat, so the leanness is important.
So how do you get there? I mean, so how do you in your book you must cover that, because that's when you talk about that's one of the 6 things is being lean.
The only way to get really more muscle, you have to get strong. So you have to follow the strength. So you don't get muscle because you eat, right? You eat protein or whatever. So that's not really. we just protein. People eat protein. They think that they gain muscle. So how you really gain muscle? You have to tear the muscle. You have to apply resistance more than the muscle can handle, and usually tearing happens. And when the muscle small tears, and the muscle rebuilds itself, heals itself, and builds more than before. So if you do the same over and over, you will never really, improve your muscle or gain the muscle. You have to get stronger. It means you have to break records. You have to get stronger and stronger with micro-progressive system that you know what you are doing over, let's say, 1 or 2 years to build 20 pounds of muscle. And it's possible, yes. And it's really hard when you are 60 years old, but you can be done at 60 or 70. You just need to follow very progressive, micro-progressive way and watch yourself and watch for any signs of overtraining, watch for any signs of body breaking, body that doesn't like certain things and adapt. So it's a lot. It's a masterpiece, really, to gain muscle, because it's really against nature. The nature wants you not to have the muscle. So it's a natural thing to be skinny fat when you are 60 or 70 years old. So all the training that people do, it's not natural. It's not normal.
So what kind of in your book? What kind of training do you preach or talk about? Is it weight training? Is it calisthenic based? Is it some other type of training that you find to be the most efficient, successful at especially for people who are in 35 plus?
Okay, so it's the whole training is based on dumbbells. So 3 dumbbells, and there are 18 exercises in the routine. And those exercises have deadlifts, they have squats, they have presses, they have movements, the spine forward and backward, so arches and sit-ups. So all of it that is included, all these exercises cover every inch of the flexibility that the person would need during the day. So let's say if you do Tai Chi, let's say, or yoga, and now you put dumbbells on top of it and resistance, that you end up with happy body. And Olympic weightlifting, right? So the requirement is that you do 30 minutes a day. You do the same over and over. And when you do the same and over, that you learn where you are tight, where you are a little bit in pain, where you are sore, what needs to be improved. After a year or two, you really learn about yourself, and you learn how to overcome problems in the body. If you ski or you fall and then you have problems because of it, you know how to fix it using the happy body. So you have this symphony of exercises that you do every day. And once it's done every day, then it's easy to do that, even though it's really hard. So when you are 90 years old and 100, if you did this for 50 years, then you will wake up at 90 and then you will do the happy body. And it will be easy for you to stretch. It will be easy to have the flexibility that, you've done for so many years. The body really likes to do over and over the same. The mind doesn't like it. So the mind likes always different, but the body likes the same. And then also perfecting the same, doing the same. It's like, pole vaulter. If you're a pole vaulter and then you jump, the pole vaulter likes that too, right? If you're really on that level. So
did you say 50 minutes or 15 minutes?
No.
50 or 15?
30 minutes.
30 minutes. I hit both sides of that.
Yeah. 30 minutes, 30 minutes a day. And that's enough to have flexibility that you need to face your life, to whatever you really need, to ski, surf, or, walk, run, sprints, and whatever it is. And usually the happy body people, when they go skiing after months of not skiing, they don't have any soreness, no problems, and they just really good. The next day they go on the mountain, but they have friends who don't do the happy body. They are sore, they are in pain, they do massages and so on. And the happy body people on the mountain, because whatever they do is actually testing in the training a lot of more requirement than actually the mountain. So the training, 30 minutes training is one thing, flexibility. And then you start really gaining strength. So it means that you start progressing. When you have, let's say 5 pounds at the beginning, then after 7 months, let's say, or 6 months, you have 15 pounds and 20 pounds and 25 pounds, and you become really strong. You can really become strong in the happy body when you start really lifting, doing tricep with 50 pounds. So it's a system not only that makes you flexible. Yeah, it can also has the power to make you strong and quick and do the increase your mobility as well as improve your plexus. Especially when we get older.
So what were the other? So you talked about being lean, working out 15 minutes a day. And so what are all 6 of the other components of the happy body?
Posture. Posture is important, really. So here is the situation when people have the posture that bridges itself. So this is really important element. So the posture is when usually people stand, they thoracic spine and they bend down, right? And so the thoracic, the sternum moves down. When the sternum moves down, the head goes down too, and the person moves down, and then the head goes up, right? And then this spine there, the whole spine bridges itself, so the person cannot go back to have the spine is like a whip. The spine should go back and should go forward. But people lose, while they're getting older, their capability of arching the spine back. So they become forward and they stay forward and they walk that way. And that is the vertebrae got fused. So
can you get yourself out of that sort of situation? Because I see when you did that, I thought of a number of people that walk like that. Can you go from that or are you too? Can you use exercise to move from that kind of posture to get that fixed?
Yes, there are especially exercises that done in the arches in the happy body, but also the certain exercises promote that arch, like let's say the exercise that we use with the dumbbells, and when you go down, so you train that flexibility of the spine. So once people are like this, right? Once people are like that, then they have to train the spine that opens up eventually over time, and then is capable to go up and down, right, about it without doing that. So usually when people have problems with spine, they think if they are like that, they think that they problem with the shoulders. But that's not the shoulder problem, that's the spine problem. You see, once I correct the spine, then my arms are vertical. And the same people think that they have the problem with the neck here, and that is the problem. But it's not really the problem with the neck and the pain of the neck. They are just, the spine is such. Once they correct the spine, they can correct the head. See? So the flexibility is extremely, posture is extremely important. There is also the exercise on the ground. I can show you a little bit here. The exercise especially for arching the thoracic spine. So they end up like this. So that it's like a snake movement that promotes this flexibility of the spine. So mostly thoracic spine is extremely important. Ankles, hips, flexors, and lower back, glutes, and also the spine. Everything is important. So the happy body system has 18 exercises. I can see the 18 exercises here. And these 18 exercises cover everything, whatever is needed to end up with the perfect posture. So it depends how you are at the beginning. Let's say at the beginning you have this really bad spine. And after 2-3 years, you can restore flexibility of that spine that is not bending one direction, but also the other. You probably saw the device to throw the balls for dogs. They're kind of flexible back and forth. So the spine should be like that too. It should be back and forth. So you can imagine like a pitcher, right? Throwing the ball, right? It has to be flexible back and flexible forward. So really the core throws the ball and not really the arm. In the arms are not really working in athletics. It's all hips and core. The whole body throws the ball, not the arm.
Very true in tennis. I'm a tennis player, and just the
Well,
core,
the tennis player is
the motion.
If you are right, so if you go and you really move, right, and then the head, so the body is really doing the other one there. So you go and you hit, right, but this movement is hitting, and this movement is hitting, and not the arm is here, right? So the whole body system, and you can really recognize the sound of the ball, and even in golf, how the sound is. If there's dull sound, that resonance come to the ground. But if it's like pitchy, that it means that the arm only hit the ball. It's really fantastic, to really to.
So I've got flexibility, posture, leanness. Use weights.
Body weight.
Body weight.
Body weight.
And so what are the last two things?
So body weight, leanness, and body weight. They are two really. So you can have your body weight, right? Body weight is important, not to have too much body and not to have not enough body. So if you want to really have a powerful body system, that it is existing somewhere where athletes exist. So it cannot be too much of the body, not enough. So the standard gives you, by the height and gender, gives you your number, whatever number it is. So what's your height is?
5 foot. It used to be 6 foot, but now it's 5'11".
So you should be 175 and between 170 and 180.
Yeah, and I'm about 10 pounds more than that.
Yeah, so you could be, but you need to have the leanness attached to it.
Right.
Right. So if you are, let's say 210, right, or 190, but you are 10% body fat, so you have a great body system. So you have body weight, right, leanness, you have flexibility, you have posture, you have strength, and you have speed. It means that you have to do exercises in the certain time. So why is it important? Because, when you do 30 minutes and you really roll, then the speed, the nervous system training is now important. Why it is important? Because when we are getting older, our reflexes are slowing down. And that is the reason why we trip and we are not fast to save ourselves. So usually our clients also add not only the speed of doing the exercises, but go into sprints and jump on stairs boxes, some kind of a nervous system training, plyometrics.
So tell me, what do you do now as you're? I mean, a lot of people are retiring or have already retired. So tell me what you do as your primary business now.
Well, I tell people never retire, first of all, because retirement is death. So
I'm with you. I absolutely 100% agree. I started a business in my 60s. I didn't want to retire. I guess I could have retired, but it seemed like a horrible idea to me. Just like dig a hole and I'll get in and you throw the dirt on top of me.
So the research is clear about that. About 80% of men in US die within 2 years after retirement. So I will never retire. I have clients that they perform surgeries in 90s. So,
Wow.
it's still active, So, a lot of people don't really think that retirement is a good thing. Research, supports not a good thing. So even if you have money, you really need to go somewhere and use yourself, help and use yourself, really challenge yourself. Not only do certain things that because you have money, but you should have people that depend on your performance and your entrepreneurship that is challenged enough that takes out of you a lot. Because that once we are challenged, also the body and the mind has to meet the challenge. And that's how we grow, how we can get better. Like our choices is life, right? So that's extremely important. If you have only easy choices, you deteriorate. You don't get better. Or even you don't fight the curve after 35. Yeah, because the aging really is real and is happening, and it shows in numbers. When you analyze numbers between 35 and 90 or 100 for sprinters and weightlifters and all the track and field. So you can see how the records drop. And the records drop twice as fast between 65-70 and 75-80. People don't know why it happens that way, but it happens. But, the main point is that retirement is not a good thing.
So did I see on your website, I saw TED. Did you do a TED Talk somewhere?
No, the TED Talk is Tim Ferriss. The TED Talk that is.
Oh, okay, that was from Tim. Oh, that was underneath his picture. That's what it was. Okay.
Yeah. I did the Google Talk, and a lot of the podcasts. I love podcasts, and I like long podcasts because long podcasts are really showing authenticity of people. Right? It's really short, like the appearances on TV, like 5 minutes. Never liked that one. It's just like, what is this? It's just like completely advertisement, and you know, okay, it's okay to go and say this is the book and this is me. Yeah, but
So if somebody wants to hire you, or what would they hire you for starters? So I know, so we got to give a plug for your book, The Happy Body, and you can find that on Amazon. But so if they wanted to hire you directly, what would they do? Do you do like Zoom conferences with people to help them through issues, and how would that work?
yeah, I coach people on Zoom also. I do Beyond the Happy Body. I'm writing another book called The Happy Body Elite, and it will be more power, because the Happy Body is based on the capability of an 80-year-old world champion, and the Happy Body Elite will be based on a 60-year-old. So 80-year-old can lift the weight that is the body weight, the clean and jerk. So if you're 200 pounds, you can lift 200 pounds, like up all the way up. But 60-year-old can do 1.5 of that. So it means that one is a lot of stronger. That one will lift 300 pounds, not 200 pounds. So the why I'm doing it, because over the last 35 years, I also coach a lot of young athletes between 15 and 18 before they go to colleges, through high school, all kind of athletes like soccer players and football and basketball, water polo players, and so I see that they need a lot of more power than actually 80-year-old has, the world champion. So I'm writing this book about this kind of training. So I do the mixture. I do the Happy Body, but also I coach elite. I coach on Zoom, and I coach in person. People fly from all over the world here, and they learn from me and Daniela, the how to do things, how to set up, how to cook, how to eat. And in 3-4 days, they go back, and then we can have Zoom sessions. And other people like the book, they buy the book and learn everything from the book. So it just depends who you are. We wrote the book to be completely alone, standing alone, independent tool for people to have. So they don't need us. It's written that way. So it works too. Sometimes people send us email after 5 years, and they are doing the Happy Body, and they send us email about that. It's beautiful. It's really amazing, and that it can be done that way. The book works.
Well, I think we're just going to wind it up right here. I really appreciate you coming on. I really did enjoy it. It's good topics. It's right down my alley too. So I hope that the people who are watching also enjoy as much as I did meeting you and talking to you. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Jerzy.
Thank you, Zane. And I hope that you will get to this 10% body fat.
Yeah, you've inspired me. You've inspired me. Thanks again for joining us on the Trustcasting Podcast. If you want to become the trusted authority in your market, you know what to do. Subscribe below to this channel and apply to be our next guest at trustcastingpodcast.com. We'll see you next time.